Disruption and disruptive innovation.
Disruptive technology.
Great disruptive thinkers.
Disruptions and disruptors.
Disrupting.
And we love the word disrupt, don't we?
Disrupt, the word on your boss's insufferable LinkedIn profile, next to the picture of him and his Tesla.
Yeah, disrupt is a tech buzzword that they're going to use. Say, we're going to make things better for society by contributing more technology and to make society much, much better with the advancement and the technology that we're creating. I don't see what's wrong with the word disrupt.
Disrupt is a tech buzzword for making things better. And as tech companies undermine major industries and take over public services, we have to ask, are they making things better?
How do tech companies undermine the industry? Do you want to tell me that? Do you have any proof of that? Do you have any solid evidence? Do you have an article to share of how tech companies undermine the industry? If you don't have any solid proof of that, you can't just make claims outright like that. That's called being lying and being dishonest. And what's wrong with technology being a public sphere? And as to answer your question, yes, they do make our lives better, and they hope to make our lives better in the future with more advancements in technology.
Are they saving us from an economy and a government that don't work for most people? Or is their success a sign that the worst is yet to come? It might be time to disrupt the disrupting.
How is this a sign of anything worse to come? Are you saying like technology is going to get worse in years to come, or that the tech companies are making the technology is going to get worse in the years to come? Because you're not really providing like a point here. You're saying, oh, it's the worst to come ever, because you're not saying what. You're saying like technology or like the companies that are making technology. You need to provide an actual argument here, because what you just said here, I'm not getting it at all whatsoever, because you're not providing an actual argument.
Every year, tech becomes more and more part of our lives, from what we buy, to where we stay on vacation, to which stranger with too much cologne on we allow to drive us home at night. His name's Chuck, and I gave him 5 stars, because he let me crack the window to fumigate.
Yeah, Amazon's really convenient. You can buy anything from candy to DVDs or video games that are no longer in stores and like that. I love Amazon. It's one of my favorite companies. Also, Uber. If like your buses stop running in your city, you can just call an Uber. You'll get home safely. Or if you're like drunk at a party, you had a little too many, you can just call Uber. You get home safe without injuring anybody. And the Airbnbs, you can go anywhere you want and stay there. I love all 3 of these things that are convenient to us in 2018. I love that all these things are convenient to us, and I hope these things advance more and more within the coming years.
The steady encroachment of tech reminds me of what it must have been like when we first discovered fire. At first, it made our life a lot easier, warming up your cave and cooking your food. But then one day you wake up and your whole family is covered in it, and you're like, this is a little overwhelming.
So let me try to process your analogy here. You're saying technology was like when we first discovered fire. At first, it was good at first. But then you say, oh, it got overwhelming. Do you mean the kind of overwhelming like they're releasing too many technology apps a year, or they're building too many companies a year, or the overwhelming is like, there's so many choices on my phone, I don't know what to pick. What kind of overwhelming do you mean? Because you're not saying what kind of overwhelming do you mean. Do you mean A, that there's so many choices, I can't pick which one, Uber, Lyft, I can't pick which one to go home? Or B, that they're making too many tech companies a year and they're releasing too many technology-based things years and years and years. Because I'm not getting what your analogy or like your argument is here. Because you're not saying what's overwhelming. You're not really saying what is overwhelming you. You say, oh, it's overwhelming. What is? That so many choices, or that they're making too many tech companies, and that they're releasing too many of the technology conveniences today. You need to provide like some actual clarity here, because I'm not understanding.
But tech is cool, and that's a plus when you want to distract news anchors from the potential downsides of, say, 7-Eleven delivering you food by drone.
The world's largest convenience store chain revealed yesterday that it has delivered items to 77 customers in Reno, Nevada. You know what? I can order a Slurpee from the 7-Eleven near.
Yes, and that is awesome. I hope more things come like that from like H-E-B, from Walmart. I hope more things come like that within the coming years. 7-Eleven's the only first one to do it, and I'm glad that happened. It's really, really cool. I think like the drones delivering things to your house are really, really awesome, to be honest. And it's a really cool experience to watch. I hope more companies start to do it within the coming years. I hope more companies embrace it.
My parents' house. From my parents' house.
That works.
Too much government
I
regulation.
used to walk to the 7-Eleven
You
in
don't have to
McLean. Now I
anymore.
can get it. Yeah.
Wow, and that's how you make the news all about yourself. Next up, we'll mention California's drought, and Mika will tell a story about beating her brother in a squirt gun fight in 1974.
Come on, let them have their fun and enjoy like a drone delivering a Slurpee to their house. Come on, let them embrace it. Come on, you don't have to be that joyless, do ya? Come on, let them have their fun.
And tech companies don't just sell us on convenience and cool, but also the idea that there's nothing wrong with disrupting the market, because innovation is progress.
I do believe that innovation is progress, and I hope we as a society within the coming years bump up the technology range, you know? Just bump it up, bump it up, bump it up, and hope we get some more cool technology, things like the drone that was shown before, delivering things to your house. I hope we get more of that down the line in the future.
Like Harmony the talking sex robot. Progress.
Hey, if some people want to use that, who am I to judge? As long as it's convenient for them, and as long as they're not hurting nobody, who am I to judge?
And innovation always leads to better results, right?
A new report out now says Airbnb is driving up rental prices and housing availability in New York City.
Airbnb is playing a role in exacerbating the housing crisis that's already going on.
I tried looking up, does Airbnb cause the housing crisis? I could not find any results on it whatsoever. I just found conflicting things telling me different things. I could not find a straight, simple answer telling me that Airbnb caused the housing crisis. So no, that is completely false and completely wrong. Try again.
Here in Los Angeles,
nearly 3/4 of Airbnb's listings between 2010 and 2014 were essentially illegal hotels.
Ride-sharing vehicles averaging more than 170,000 trips in the city each weekday.
Several drivers have band together in a class action lawsuit against the company.
So yes, I did find that the Uber drivers did file a class action lawsuit against the company. I agree that Uber needs to fix some things within the company itself. I'm not saying Uber is a perfect company. Just because I rave about them and stuff like that doesn't mean that I think they're a perfect company. All companies have something they need to fix within themselves. Uber needs to fix some things within the company itself and needs to fix how they screen drivers and all that. They need to fix that.
Claiming Uber misclassifies them as independent contractors and owes them money for expenses like gas and vehicle maintenance.
Uber claimed their third-party background checks were sufficient, but nearly 100 drivers were found to have failed the checks, with drivers who committed fraud, assault, DUIs, and even possessed fake IDs.
Yes, they do need to fix those things. Like I said in my last point, they need to check if a person has assault, fraud, the DUI, or revoked driver's license. They do need to check all those things. They do not need to let those things slip by them. They need to be a little bit more stricter on that. I can agree with you on that.
Okay, but what about the free gum? Huh? And the little waters? But the bigger impact of tech companies isn't just that they're disrupting retail, taxi and hotel industries, public transportation, labor rights, or the housing market. It's that they're undermining them.
Do you want to tell me how they're undermining the housing industry? What does a tech company that provides ride sharing have to do with the housing industry? As far as the taxis go, they're not undermining them. They're providing competition. There is room for competition. There's Uber, there's Lyft, there's taxis. There's going to be competition. And if the taxi companies want to stay within said competition with Uber and Lyft, they need to upgrade the technology and see what those companies are doing to keep those customers in the long run. It's not about undermining them, it's just about competition. That's about it.
Take New York City, the one place that arguably didn't need ride-hailing apps with the amount of yellow cabs, car services, and a subway system where you can watch men dislocate their shoulders for like $1.
I can agree with you, New York did not need more of like cars, because the city is full of cars, like taxis, a whole bunch of cars on the freeway enough, and on city streets. I can agree with you on that. But if Uber or Lyft wants to put it there, that's up to them as a company, and that's their decision to make ultimately as a private company. Yeah, I can agree that it's going to be overcrowded, but if they want to put it there, we can't do anything about it if they want to put it there, ultimately.
In just the last 4 years, the number of for-hire vehicles operating in New York City more than doubled, and almost 2/3 of them are now Uber cars. As a rider trying to get uptown quickly, that sucks.
Yeah, I can agree with you that it sucks, but would you rather have transportation or no transportation? Choice is yours, it's up to you.
Unless your favorite pastime is watching pedestrians beat you. Ooh, look at that one go. She's got a cane. But imagine being a driver, like Doug Shifter. Shifter had been a limo driver since the 80s, and in early February, he shot and killed himself outside City Hall in Manhattan.
So you would stoop that low to use a man's suicide to prove your narrative or to prove whatever point you're trying to do. That is really, really low for you guys. Shame on you. Shame on you.
In what seemed to be an act of exasperation at the industry he built a career in. In a Facebook post, he said he could no longer make ends meet, even when working 100 hours a week. On top of that, he felt let down by New York City's politicians for failing to regulate and corporate execs for not caring. And his sentiments are echoed by taxicab drivers too.
Like I said, you used a man's suicide to try and prove a point. That is very low. You never, ever do that. That is very, very low. I'm disgusted. I'm very disgusted by you.
Asifo Adei has been driving for 27 years, and he says thanks to Uber, he now has nothing to show for it.
I don't have a life. I work 12 hours a day. I pretty much work just to survive.
Okay, but Uber says they give drivers flexibility. Take the day off.
Yes, I do feel for that guy, but tell the taxi company that he's working for to learn how to pay their drivers better, or just keep up with the competition like Uber and Lyft. Tell them to do that. Tell them to improve things better for taxi drivers so that they can stay in competition with Uber and Lyft, so that there won't be a problem, and that he can make a decent living while Uber and Lyft still exist. Tell the taxi company that.
Or pay rent. Disrupt. All right, let's ask tech. Listen to former Uber CEO Travis Kalanick justify his work.
We look at all of the cities and we know that the transportation systems there are just they're not serving everybody's needs. I mean, even here in New York with a great mass transit system, there's still 2.5 million cars going over those bridges every day. We just believe we can help the city do better.
So if he's willing to make the city better, then what is the problem? I do not see what argument you're gonna make here in a minute if he's trying to make the city better. I don't see what argument you're trying to make here.
By building another bridge and donating to the MTA. I'm sorry, I'm just playing. We're adding more cars and making tons of dough. Still, Kalanick, although an unmitigated douchebag, is unfortunately not wrong, because many mass transit systems, including the New York subway, are sorely neglected. It's so bad that Pizza Rat was the best thing to happen to the New York subway system in decades. I'm surprised the MTA didn't just make it its mascot.
I don't know. But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
Yes, I guess you're right.
But fixing what the government hasn't is something big tech constantly claims it does. Politicians have failed you, the economy has failed you, and rather than change it, tech says they're here to help.
They are there to help, but every time they try to do something, you say, oh, this is wrong, or this is wrong, or this is wrong. They don't know what to do anymore, to be honest. So When they try to fix something, you always complain. When they try to fix this, you always complain. What do you want them to do, to be honest? Because every time they try to fix something, there's a complaint. I understand the legitimate complaints, but some of these are just outlandish complaints that are not even warranted at all.
I was pretty much just struggling to make ends meet. In and out of work. I couldn't pay my mortgage.
I was having a lot of difficulty.
When I finally came to Uber, it was probably the best thing that's happened.
Airbnb can give us an extra income to help us survive a little bit better.
In the past decade, wages have pretty much stayed the same while costs have gone up.
Drive with Uber and put a $sign in front of your odometer.
So you're literally going after commercials now that are advertising their jobs. Do you not have an argument so much that you're willing to go after commercials that are literally advertising their company so they can get more people in, so they can get more jobs, so people have more income and all that? Is that what you're really going after? Come on now.
Like this guy.
Technically, I'm a cook.
Yeah. Technically, he's a cook, but since there's no stability in the restaurant industry, he's got to drive drunk 23-year-olds around and hope they don't puke in his car.
He can work as a cook, and he can work as an Uber driver. Have you ever heard of a person working two jobs before? Is that just a foreign concept to you or something? Also, this is a commercial advertising to get people in so they can go and apply and have an income. You're attacking a commercial. Either get a real argument or don't attack commercials that advertise jobs to get people income. Please stop, because it's annoying.
Now sure, renting your place on Airbnb or driving for ride-hail companies might be solid temporary fixes. But when they go unregulated, these precarious jobs don't become the disruption in the market. They make precarious jobs the rule of the market.
I looked that up as well and saying whether Uber, Lyft, or Airbnb will become the rule of the market. No, they will not become the rule of the market because there's always going to be competition. Whether it be Uber, Lyft, Airbnb, they're all competitions within themselves. And if another ride-sharing thing wants to come, there's going to be competition as well. It's not going to be the rule of the market. It's just competition. That is about it. So it's saying, oh, it's going to be the rule of the market from now on. No, that's not it at all. That is dishonest, and you're completely lying to your audience.
Which is how you get a worsening of the housing crisis and the destruction of taxis.
What does Airbnb or ride-sharing companies have to do with destruction of the housing crisis? What does it have to do? It has nothing to do with it. Nothing. They're completely separate things. And as far as the destruction of taxis go, it is competition. If a certain thing that's in the market that's providing rides, like whether it's Uber, Lyft, or the taxis, does not keep up with that said competition in the market, it is going to be wiped out. I'm sorry, it's going to be wiped out. I'm sorry these taxis are getting destroyed, but they're not keeping up with the competition that's in the market right now. Who knows, Uber and Lyft can be destroyed by something else that's coming up within a few years. So it's all about competition. That's it.
And the reason you can't stay in your childhood bedroom when you go home for Thanksgiving, because it's now a suburban oasis. Really, Mom? At a time when we have more income inequality since before the Great Depression, the services these apps provide are overwhelmingly being used by people who are wealthier.
I looked at the high household incomes. Here's what I got. However, the average monthly household income is $12,027. This means your family income is exactly $12K. You are considered below average. If you're not sure why the average is high, you need to know about what the difference between average and median. Briefly, the average can be skewed by a lot by high-earning families. These upper echelons make much more. The families in the top 10%, top decile, make an average of $31,806, which is disproportionately high. That doesn't sound rich to me. It's high, but it doesn't sound rich. So you're saying, oh, these things are being used by the rich. It's completely false. Who do you know who's using them? Did you ask the thing? Like, who's using them? Did you ask who's staying there? No, I'm pretty sure you didn't ask who was staying there. You say, oh, it's being used by the rich. It's deceitful and dishonest. Can you please stop lying to your audience?
Making you wonder if these companies are helping to close the income gap or prying it wide open. Tech isn't here to help you survive the vampire bite of capitalism. It's here to find a new space on your neck.
If you think capitalism is just waiting to bite you on your neck and then bite you again when you're not looking, capitalism is an economic system characterized by the private or corporate ownership of capital goods, by investments that are determined by private decision, and prices, production, and distribution of goods that are determined mainly by competition in a free market. So capitalism is not this mean old thing that's just going to bite you on the neck and then bite you when you're not looking. It's determined in a free market where you're free to do anything and they're not going to hurt you whatsoever. It's not going to hurt you and bite you on your neck as soon as you're not looking. No. That is completely false, and you're completely fear-mongering at this point.
And of course, since big tech is so gallantly stepping in to profit off of the government and our economy's failures, it only makes sense that one company is trying to tackle the biggest failure of them all.
Oh, I wonder what that would be. Let's find out.
Amazon is at it again, and this could be a game changer for healthcare. Amazon, Berkshire Hathaway, and JP Morgan Chase are forming an independent healthcare company for its employees.
Great idea, because there's no reason to think that the employees you overwork and underpay would be undercared for by your healthcare. By the way, you're not a healthcare company.
Amazon said they were never a healthcare company, just creating a healthcare company. Competition with all the other healthcare companies that are around, just to get them scared, just to provide competition. And they're going to try to improve with their healthcare company. So let the free market judge the Amazon healthcare company before you say, oh, it stings. So let the free market judge. They say it's a success, it's a success. If they don't say it's a success, it will disappear within a year. I promise you that. So let them judge it for themselves.
How much you want to bet Amazon's coverage is just to cover people in bubble wrap? And you can pop some of those bubbles to distract you from the pain.
Like I said in a previous point, let people in the free market judge whether that healthcare company is going to be a success or not. They like it, they like it. They don't, it'll disappear. So let people judge it first before you declare it a failure.
Disrupt healthcare! Woo! But just because these companies want to own more and more of our lives doesn't mean they should be able to.
They don't want to own more of your lives. They just want to build a company. That's about it. You're acting like there's some evil overlord in a cartoon trying to take over the world or something. Calm down. You're exaggerating too much.
Which brings us to the R word, the word that makes every Fox News host shudder. Regulation.
So you want to put regulations on technology because a few people messed up and were crazy with the technology that they were given access to. No, that's not going to be a good idea, because you're going to be punishing the innocent people that didn't do anything crazy with the technology that they were given access to. Regulations only make things worse. It punishes innocent people that didn't do anything crazy with the technology that they were given access to. So no, I am against regulations.
Listen to how this conservative pundit argues against regulating the unfettered use of drones.
I have a feeling I'm going to agree with a Fox News person for the first time ever. Allow me to go throw up in my trash can as I say that. Yeah, because I don't agree with regulations at all. Because, like I said, you're punishing innocent people for the few idiots that messed up. So having regulations is not a good idea.
You're asking the government to get involved and to be the one to regulate what's going on about technology? I agree with you. I don't want them flying on my head, but I'm going to get a helmet. I have little kids. They love the drones.
Right.
There's nothing you can do about it.
I agree. There's nothing you can do about it. Just tell them, don't be reckless with the technology you were given access to. Be careful with it. That's all you have to do. You don't need regulations for that. Just to tell people, hey, just be careful. That's about it.
Yeah, get a helmet. That's what being an American is all about. Having needless workarounds for easily regulatable tragedies.
Like I said before, tell people don't be reckless with the drones or even the technology that they were given. You don't need regulations just to tell people don't be idiots. You don't need regulations for that. Just tell them. And if they are being that way, just take it away. You don't need regulations for that at all. That just be a waste of big old paper if you were to put the regulations out. So, no regulations. No.
I got my drone helmet, my acid rain helmet, my stray bullet helmet, my rape helmet, my oil spill in the drinking water helmet, and my night on the town helmet. Sup?
You really don't like to hear other people's points now, do you? Unless it agrees with your own. And if you do hear other people's points, you just take it and exaggerate it so it makes it look dumb when in actual reality it isn't. Try listening to other people's opinions for once. Please.
But despite the legions of lobbyists hired by tech companies to fight laws restricting them, cities and states have started to regulate. Cities like London, Seattle, Baltimore, Detroit, and Vancouver have been placing taxes and restrictions on short-term rental services like Airbnb.
So apparently those people gave in to listen to nonsense, say, we need regulations to regulate these companies. When you can easily tell them, hey, here's the rules. If you want to have your company in our city, there it is. You don't need regulations for that. Just tell them, hey, these are the rules. If you're going to be in our city, follow them, or you can get out and go to another city. You don't need a regulation for that. Seriously, come on.
Berlin was able to bring back 8,000 housing units to the market. And ride-hailing services have been limited, taxed, and subjected to more oversight in states like Michigan, Massachusetts, and Texas.
Great, if you more cities to listen to the regulation faux nonsense. Oh well, anything can be done now. It's already been passed.
Which will help raise driver wages, reduce traffic, and bring more money to those states.
If they want to do that, great. I'm not going to knock them for trying to do that. Good on them if they want to do that. I don't necessarily agree with the regulations though.
Because not all disruption is a bad thing. Uber and Lyft probably prevent a lot of drunk driving. And one time I stayed in a treehouse in Nashville. It was awesome. But maybe it's time to rethink how tech isn't fixing our real problems. Instead, it's a band-aid falling off the gaping wound left by the thing we should disrupt most of all, that vampire called capitalism.
Great, even more fear-mongering about capitalism. Like I said, if you think that's how capitalism works, you're completely delusional. It's a free market. You can do whatever you want. It's not going to bite you in the neck as soon as you build a business there. Come on now. You're just completely lying at this point.
Thanks for watching Newsbroke again. I'm Francesca Fiorentini. Follow me on Twitter at FrannyFio. And please share this video with your network to give them a more thorough picture of the effects of the apps that they might be using every day.
No, I will not do that because this video was completely dishonest and you lied a lot throughout this video.
And also, will you please go to our review page and give us a 5-star review on Facebook Watch?
No, as much as I don't hate you, I'm just going to give you a 1-star. I'm sorry. This video did it for me.
Because the trolls, they come out. This is my fact helmet and you're wearing a shirt that says feminist and I feel threatened.
If you think that's how people act when they see just a shirt like that, no. They ask you, why are you a feminist? And they may give you some facts and reason why they don't like feminism and all that. But they're not just going to say, you're wearing a feminist shirt. And this is my fact helmet. I feel completely threatened by you. No, that's not how reality works.
1 star. So thank you for giving us a review. And we'll see you next week.
If you think that's the reason people give you a 1-star, no. They just don't agree with your opinion. And I don't know if you like hearing things that disagree with your opinion. And you think people giving you 1-star are trolls. So I'm going to give you a 1-star anyway because I disagree with your opinion. Okay? And I'm not a troll. I just didn't like the video that you put out, alright? So that's going to be it from me, guys. If you want to see more of my videos, because it's all right over here, it'll take you to more of my lovely videos. Have a great day, guys. Remember to stay awesome.